Yo, how's it going, guys? KPR here, bringing you guys another video. And today, I'm going to be ranking how fun each character is in Nightreign. And I've been playing this game for quite a while, beat almost all the bosses. The one I haven't beat yet is the enhanced versions of the bosses. Right now, there's Dark Drift Knight as an enhanced boss, but I was not able to beat Gaping Jaw. Granted, I've been playing other games as well, along with Nightreign, just because I felt like playing more multiplayer. I hopped on again on Black Ops 6, and I'll probably be making a video about that soon as well. Now, just remember, this is really subjective, and this is not based off how good the character is. I'm not ranking that at all. The character could be really good, but I just don't really find them too fun, and that's all it is. This isn't ranking their how good they are in the game, how good they are in solo, if they could carry and stuff like that, or how much work you can put into it. This is more just of me either not really having too much fun with the character, not really seeing much to do with them, not liking their abilities in general. So yeah, just keep that in mind, my dudes, that this is just really subjective, and the things I find fun will not be the same for everyone, so this is purely opinion based, my dudes. Anyways, there are 8 characters in the game, so we'll be starting off with my least favorite character, which is actually Wylder. This is the poster child of the game, and he is seen in all of Nightreign. This is basically the very basic character, in my opinion. It's supposed to be the easiest one to get into, I'm assuming, and I personally don't really like most of his kit. Like, it's decent, for sure. Like, you can definitely put in some work with it, and I've seen people play him pretty well, but I just don't like his ability. Like, the grappling hook, you could use it a bit for mobility, but all you're doing is just like saving a second or two. And I've seen some people show some like movement tech on Instagram and on YouTube shorts, and it's them using their whole ult just to move to the centimeter to the right or so. And I'm just like, bro, what's the point of doing that? I really don't get it. And I feel like they could have done way more with the hook. I thought that you'd be able to actually, like, hook onto the walls and stuff like that. That's what I was trying to test out in the run as well, but no, you cannot do that. At the end of his hook, though, what you could do to get a bit more mobility is jump at the end of it, and it'll take you a few meters ahead than you would if you wouldn't have jumped. Now, like I said, this isn't about his how good the character is. I just really don't like these type of characters where it's just really basic for me. Of course, you can use any weapon you want, or weapons that are good for him, the ones he prefers and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure he has one of the bigger lists of preferred weapons, so you have a lot of options with the choices. And I know he has a special combo if you have a great sword, and I've seen that some of the great swords aren't really labeled well, and I'm just like, bruh, not very fire, man. So sometimes I accidentally pick up one that says a great sword, but it's actually a colossal sword, which sucks. But hopefully they fix that or something, because that's just really misleading for many people. And I believe the passive Sixth Sense is pretty cool, just because it lets you avoid a death. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I don't always need it, and other times I do get cooked, like you guys just saw. Overall, his kit, of course, is not bad at all, and if you guys enjoy the character, that's great. But I just find him really niche. I don't like anything about his character. I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm just doing this for the video. I played him for like, I want to say a total of like 10 runs, just to make sure I don't really find him too fun. And it sucks because I thought he was going to be a character that I would have enjoyed playing, but turns out it wasn't, which sucks ass. But oh well, yeah, it's just not a character for me. That's all it is. Moving on to number 7, we have Raider. Now, not gonna lie, my dudes, these are characters I'm gonna start having fun with. Wylder is basically the only one that didn't really have too much fun playing. And with Raider, I do like his kit a bit. His ult is pretty sick, and I used it before they changed it up a bit. And well, I think it just got nerfed. I don't know if it got an animation change. I honestly could not tell. I thought they did at first, but I could be wrong. I like how it buffs the teammates around you, right? Is that what it does? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does buff your teammates around you, but I could be wrong. And it just brings up that huge tombstone on the enemy. It staggers most of them, but not all the time. The weird thing about Raider though is that I feel that he's much slower. I could be wrong. It could just be more of a, not animation, maybe it could just be like a little placebo effect where the character's tankier, therefore he's going to be slower than the rest of the other characters. The good thing about him too is that he doesn't stagger easily, so you're going to be able to, oh wait, actually I don't even think he's staggerable at all, of course, unless you're hit by like one of the bosses and grabbed, but other than that I don't think he's really too staggerable. And I just love how much you can stagger the enemies, especially some of the smaller ones. It's just so satisfying to get those critical hits most of the time. And I think that you could definitely make a pretty good build with them that include hitting a lot of criticals, or when they're staggered or whatever. I don't know why they call it critical hits. I honestly thought that there was a way to get it when I first played Elden Ring, that it meant, oh yo, if you hit him over the head or some, it's gonna be a critical hit. But nah, it's just when they're staggered. And I was like, overall playing the character felt pretty fun, felt really tanky, and just that every hit felt super strong and satisfying to land. I could see myself coming back to this character every once in a while, not for a very long time though, just because I somewhat get bored of his kit for some weird reason. So yeah, there's just something about it that I'm going to eventually get bored of, and I'm like, alright, I just need to hop on a different character just to have a bit more fun with it. Just because in Nightreign, since I basically beat almost all the bosses and I just gotta wait for all those enhanced ones to come out, it's going to get kind of stale for me after a while. Moving on to number 6, we have Guardian. Now, I actually enjoy playing Guardian a lot, but I still don't think I enjoy him as much as the rest of the characters, because the most hype thing about it is definitely his ult. It's just so fire. The animation is so sick. I've seen so many Instagram edits of people rezzing their teammates, and I've also seen edits of them failing to do so, where it's just some hype music and they just do it so horribly, and then he gets also grabbed by the moth and it's just really insane. There's been quite a few clips. I also like the relic where his ability is actually extended, because it keeps staggering some of the smaller mini bosses, and you're going to be able to put out insane damage with it as well. He's somewhat easy to play, of course, just because of his high health reserves, and you're going to be able to consume, or not consume, but take a bunch of the damage for your team. It does suck though that the other meme about Guardian is that all he is a sponge, and they want him to just be grabbed by the, when enhanced gaping jaw was out, just to be grabbed by him so the teammates could get extra hits. So that's just really funny to me, and that's why he's also somewhat lower on the list, but I still have a pretty good time playing this character. I don't really think I have much to say about Guardian. He's a pretty good character in my opinion. I enjoy playing him. His abilities are pretty fun, and the other cool thing about his ult is that you can hold it so your teammates can basically be invulnerable, and they could be doing damage at the same time as well. So yeah, Guardian, pretty fun. So that's all I really gotta say about him. My fault, I don't really have anything else to say about the bird. Moving on to number 5, we have Ironeye. This is probably the easiest character in the game, I believe. Everyone says that, and you pretty much have an easy time playing the game as well. He does a pretty good amount of damage, and you can really do a lot of work with him. His skill is pretty good, since you're going to be able to stagger a bunch of the bosses from what I've seen. As soon as it actually lands that crit or the weak spot, it's going to stagger them, unless they're doing a certain animation. I've noticed it a few times, but whenever I actually do land his skill, it doesn't always stagger them if they're doing a hitting animation or something. I do find Ironeye fun. Just remember that just because he's at number 5 doesn't mean that I don't have fun with the character. He's probably my, I would say, the third most played, I want to say, just because At the beginning, I was playing him. I thought he was going to be dog water because in Elden Ring, I'm pretty sure you guys know, almost all of the bows weren't really worth taking just because you would have to have that ammo in reserves as well. And you couldn't really be doing too much damage with them. So you're just like always would write it off. And that's what I was thinking with Ironeye as well. But then I noticed you could put in some crazy damage with them, especially due to his skill. The other cool part about him is that you have a higher chance of getting better loot from what I remember about his passive, and it will give it to your teammates as well. The other thing about Ironeye that I kind of don't like is his weapon variety. Of course, you want to take the bows, but it's more of the bows I'm talking about. There aren't really that many good ones, and I believe that the only legendary bow is an Elder bow. And if you guys have used an Elder bow as Ironeye, you guys would notice that you're kind of left out in the open quite a while. For any massive bow, crossbow, cannon that you use, you have to reload it, and you're stuck in that animation, so you're going to be vulnerable. And if the boss decides to go for you and you're not decently far away from them, or if that boss is insanely fast, you're practically cooked. You're gonna get hit no matter what, at least while you're reloading, if your teammates aren't putting constant pressure on that boss. Now, the weird thing about me, when I play Ironeye, I actually try to get the cannon. It's a purple cannon, of course, and it shoots out a harpoon, I think, or a spear, one of those two. It shoots out one of those, and I actually enjoy using that weapon because it seems like it procs the weak spot hit within, like, I would say three shots of it. Granted, it does take a while to load that weapon, and like I said, it just leaves you insanely vulnerable, so it could be a hit or miss sometimes if that boss for some weird reason is constantly going for you. I know it actually does target the person that is probably doing the most burst damage, and that does suck because you could get a really strong bow and it'll most likely keep going for you. Of course, you could get the passives on the weapon that says less likely to target you, but from my experience, dog, even when I have like 2 of those, it still goes for me if I'm doing too much damage to the boss. So overall, again, this is a bit more where I'm having a really good time. So we have fun. I would say it's probably the bare minimum. Good time. And I'll see what I named the other ones. But this is just me having a good time. And basically, most of the time, I could just be turn off my brain and play this character, which is why I probably also find him pretty fun. Moving on to number 4, we have Duchess. This character I also picked up because I like their ability, and I thought it was going to be more of a really fast character, which she is, and I like how she prefers the daggers. I like starting off with them, but what does suck about the daggers is that there are no legendary weapons for them, and that really sucks ass. They should at least add one in, or they should just make one a legendary. I know you could definitely make them a legendary if you got the magma place, I forgot what it was called, if you have that as a shifting earth, but other than that, you're not going to find any drops of legendaries. You're just going to find purples, which are the Blade of the Calling, I believe, and the Black Knife. Those are actually pretty decent weapons. I prefer the Black Knife, so whenever I find one as Duchess, I'm like, alright, I know this is going to be a pretty good run, and most of the time it is. The Black Knife is just really good, and if you're able to find 2 of them, you're going to be putting in some pretty good work with them. But even if you just have one, it's the Ash of War that is insanely strong. It debuffs the enemy and it just does so much damage. I would suggest, if you guys find the Black Knife, to run it. And if you guys don't know, it actually takes away some of their health. I believe it's like around 1/10 or so of their health. I could be wrong though. It could be a bit less. But I would suggest you guys hitting it with that Ash of War first, because you're going to be missing out on damage that you could not damage, but you're going to be putting in a bit more extra work than you should have if you would have hit him with the Ash of War first. Now, the thing about Duchess, for me at least, I personally don't like using her in solo. I tested it out a few times, but I noticed that I just can't do enough damage. Like the dodging and stuff are pretty easy, but with her I feel she's not really a glass cannon, but you can be proccing a bunch of stuff if you have help from teammates, because her skill makes it so they take the last few seconds of damage again, along with the ailments that they could have been afflicted with. And that's why it's going to build up a bunch of the status effects like poison, scarlet rot, freeze or frostbite, my fault, and I think those are actually it. So yeah, it's just easier to proc things with her, so she's a pretty reliable teammate if you have her. So yeah, personally for me, I wouldn't run it solo. I was getting murked every now and then, but I had a pretty decent run when I did solo. But when you play with other people, she excels much more due to a bunch of the damage being reflected on them from the other teammates as well. Now, what I kind of don't like is her ultimate. It's cool that it makes everyone invisible, but it doesn't make them intangible. So just keep in mind that if that boss is doing some sort of AoE attack, you still might get cooked. Just because it can't see you doesn't mean it's not going to hit you. So my opinion on her, also have a pretty good time with her. I would definitely come back to this character a pretty decent amount of times. Moving on to number 3, we have Recluse. This is actually the character I play, I would say, the second most. I think Revenant barely beats it. But with this character, I'm probably going to have the most playtime soon, because I've been having so much fun playing this character, and I just love her skill so much. I forgot magical concoction. I forgot what it's called. My fault, y'all. But it's just insanely fun to use, the different combinations you could have. The only thing that's been cooking me though is the RNG with the staffs and talisman, because I've been basically getting a bunch of the ones that only give me the blue magic, whether it be from glintstone, sorcery, or from some other bull. I rarely sometimes get any other element, and it really does suck, because sometimes I'd be like, oh shoot, I got the rancor at first and I thought it was going to be proccing fire, but no, it just procs the blue one. So I don't really get much variety sometimes when I'm making the concoction, unless my teammates are of course hit by a status ailment from an enemy or a boss. Now that's the only thing bad about her, I would say, is just that RNG can cook you sometimes and you're not going to have the best combinations. I usually try to have almost every element when I'm running Recluse, because it's just so fun to pop some of those and just feels so strong. It just feels so satisfying as well. And as Recluse, you basically can't run out of mana, unless of course you use some massive spells to delete enemies. I know the Comet of Azure is used a lot as her as well in order to do a lot of damage. They usually take the flask that doesn't consume any FP for a short time, and they also use her ult, which makes it so you get FP for each hit you get, so it helps out your whole team in general. I always like playing mages in games, so I instantly gravitate to this character. Well, I wouldn't say instantly, actually. I would say the second time, because I actually did not know how her concoction thing worked. I didn't know I had to actually hit him with my spells, or teammates had to hit him with status ailments, so I was really confused about that. But then I got the hang of it, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm supposed to hit him with the spells, and depending on what kind of spell it is, will depend what kind of concoction I get from it. And it was pretty fun. I saw that people already have some posts where it shows the combinations and what type of effect it'll have, and there are some pretty cool ones. I prefer to do the hollow purple, that is very fire, and I also like doing the lightning one on the Dark Drift Knight. It's pretty good, but it's just insanely hard to sometimes pull off if for some whack ass reason the bosses are like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna be hyper aggressive towards everybody, I'm gonna do all my AoE attacks, I'm not going to let you guys rest for a single second. So it's not going to really let you pop off any of your concoctions, just because they do take quite a while to do the animations. That's the only thing that sucks about her. So overall with Recluse, I have such a great time. It's just insanely fun to play her. Moving on to number 2, we have Revenant. This is a character I tried to unlock almost right away because my brother told me that there was a character that someone has necromancy and she has summons. Granted, on God, her summons definitely need a buff. They need to change the AI on them because sometimes they are insanely useless. The other problem is that they don't really scale with you, at least it doesn't seem like it, because they are one-shotted by a bunch of the bosses. So sometimes all they can do is just take 1 or 2 hits from the main boss and then they'll get murked. And then other times they'll just get one-shotted as well, and sometimes it'll be the huge skeleton. I'm like, bruh, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the tankiest summon I have, yet it is one-shotted. So it's just insanely dumb. They should have scaled them a bit better. I know they definitely don't want you to just rely on them, but dog, at least make them good. Like, make them be able to stand somewhat of a chance against the boss. But if it's not against the boss, these AI are somewhat good. I would say they're kind of mid. They're not the best, of course, but they're able to soak up some damage from the other mini bosses. Of course, not any of the ones from the castle unless it's the one underground. The one up top is just insanely strong. Bell bearing hunter, balls bearing hunter. That dude, that dude's gonna murk all your summons as well. It's insanely dumb. Usually what I try to do with Revenant, because her ult is insanely useful as well, is try to make it so I am able to rest teammates. But if I see that they're not really going to be getting cooked as often, I'll be popping my ults left and right while my huge skeleton is out, due to him able to be invincible, and he's going to be shooting out that laser beam. It doesn't do the best damage, but it does attract aggro from the boss, so it gives me enough time to be somewhat safe, and we're going to be putting out some damage against them. So with Revenant, it was another character I actually did flock to almost instantaneously. As soon as I found that out, I was like, nope, gotta focus on that, gotta get the pocket watch, gotta get Duchess, then I gotta go by that mirror, and I'm able to finally get Revenant. And I unlocked her, I would say within 2 hours I got her, and I was like, sick. And I have just been playing this character a lot. Of course, like I mentioned already, I've been playing Recluse recently and having a pretty good time with her, just because I'm able to make some of the weird concoctions she has. But either ways, Revenant is just so fun to play. I believe she has the best starter weapon in the game, so if you don't really find too many weapons that you like, she doesn't really have a preferred weapon, and she scales in Faith the most. I believe that's the highest, and I have gotten those weird dagger thingies that scale high with Faith, but they're not really the best in my opinion from what I've seen. And I think most people actually love running Revenant with huge weapons, which I try to do as well. If I see one, I'm gonna also pick it up, just because she seems to be doing a pretty good amount of damage. I was like, she say less. And it's just pretty fun to play her, and the enemies aggro towards your summons from time to time. Of course, if it's the main boss, good luck, because it's not really going to be doing much. Another cool part about her though is that you can actually use the summons to rest teammates. Granted, it might not be the fastest, but it's supposed to be so they don't die out and they don't lose any of their grace, or so they could somewhat res the teammate if you're in the main boss, and it should be a bit easier for you. So my opinion, she is insanely fun for sure. Now, for the number one character I have the most fun with is Executor. His skill is probably the best one. It's the most satisfying for me. I actually use his skill weapon more than I do with the katanas. Of course, sometimes you don't really have much of a choice, and you have to use his primary because you can't sprint with his skill weapon. Kind of sucks, but what I really like about it is the pairing. That is just so satisfying to pop off. It does suck you can't use it against what's it called, against most bosses, because if you parry it well, it's going to send you back flying. You're not really able to parry again, which really does suck. The reason why I fell in love with this the most is because I was able to parry the ball bearing hunter's ability whenever he throws the spinning sword at you. That was just so satisfying to hit. Like, just look at this, just look at this. that sound is just so satisfying to me. I love hearing the noise whenever you actually hit a perfect parry, and there's just not many words to describe it. It's just so satisfying to pull off. And what sucks is that you can't really do it against the bosses. I really wish you could, because I mean, granted, they probably don't do it because you'd probably be doing so much poise damage and you'd be staggering them so much. At least a skillful executor would be able to stagger them a lot. So yeah, I'm assuming that's why I don't do it. But dude, it's just so satisfying, and I still do hope that they try to make it so you can at least do like 3 or 4 perfect parries on the bosses, because dog, it'll be just insanely useful for people that are actually skilled with them and they're able to hit those parries. The ult is just funny to me because he turns into a giant wolf. I'm like, bruh, I know this is every furry's wet dream. I'm just like, shit, this sucks. But his ult is insanely fun to use as well. You can be doing some pretty good damage with it, and you get healed all the way as well, and it could help you block some damage, of course, since you're invulnerable each time you try to pop that ult. I usually try not to use it against bosses unless it's more of a last ditch effort to also res my teammates, due to the howl being able to do damage towards people who are downed. I just don't like how you're a huge target for the main boss, and he can also stagger you if he does too much damage to you, which could just be insanely annoying because you could be close to resing a teammate, but he does just a chunk of damage and then boom, you're staggered, and then he just cooks you after that. So that just sucks about it. But it seems like when I play Executor as well, is that I get a bunch of katanas in the game. So I'm like, dog, this game wants me to play Executor more just because of all the options I have to actually do well in that run. And in this match that I played, we actually were all Executor. Granted, we got cooked just because Gaping Jaw was just being so annoying, but we still had a pretty good time either ways playing this character. I don't really think I have anything else to say about Executor. This is the most fun I have with the character in the game. So I do play him a decent amount of times, but I've just been falling a bit more in love with Recluse and Revenant. So I'm not playing them as often, but when I do, it's just much more satisfying and fun to play as them than Recluse and Revenant. So I don't play them much, but it's still more fun. I don't know, I know it's kind of weird, but oh well. But anyways, my dudes, that was my list for the characters I have the most fun with. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, which characters you guys actually have fun with, and how many bosses you guys beat. If you guys already beat all of them, that's pretty sick. I hope you guys keep doing it and you guys keep beating all those enhanced bosses. I will be making a Call of Duty video soon just because I'm starting to recently play that a lot. Actually, I think I already put in like almost 10 hours again. But anyways, my dudes, let me know down in the comments what characters you guys play, if you guys main a certain character, what kind of builds you guys got, and you guys are having so much fun with the game as well. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you guys enjoyed the content, please subscribe. With that being said, have a good day and stay safe. Later.